Yo, what is up guys? Scarface Mike here and welcome to this Madolche deck profile. Yes, this is my Madolche deck profile. In my opinion, this is the best Madolche deck that has worked for me. So you guys may have different opinions or what, but let me know in the comments below what cards you have in your Madolche deck that I do not have. So we'll just get straight into it, and this is definitely the Madolche deck that works best for me, and it includes Madolche Angelly, which is a new card and definitely makes Madolche's a lot better of a deck and improves it a lot. It's probably the most important card in this deck and it really helps it a lot. So we'll just start it off. First of all, we've got 3 Madolche Messengelados, and a pretty good card. When you special summon this card, you can add 1 Madolche spell or trap card to your hand, and you'd usually first add Madolche Chatu and then Madolche Ticket. And then once you have those 2 cards on the field, Madolches are a pretty powerful deck and hard to beat once you get those 2 cards onto the field. And then you've got Madolche Angelly. I've got 3 of them. And when this card is normal summoned, you can add a Madolche monster to your hand, and I'll usually add Madolche Angelly just because you really need her for your combos. So moving on, you then got the 3 Madolche Angellys. As I mentioned before, pretty important, and when you tribute this card, you can special summon 1 Madolche from your deck, and what I would do is tribute Madolche Angelly and then special summon Madolche Hootcake, which is my next card. I've got 3 Madolche Hootcakes, and it's a level 3 monster, and it's got a pretty good effect as well. Banish 1 monster in your graveyard to special summon 1 Madolche from your deck. So I would usually banish Madolche Angelly after using its effect to summon Madolche Hootcake. You would just banish Madolche Angelly, and then I would special summon Madolche Messengelado to add a spell or trap card to my hand. And so that's why Madolche Hootcake is a pretty good card and seems to work out pretty good. Then moving on, I've got Spell Striker, just 2 of them. Just for the rank 3 XYZ monsters, you can special summon Spell Striker to help special summon your rank 3 XYZ monsters. Then moving on, you've got 3 Madolche Melufului. I'm not quite sure how to say that, correct me if I'm wrong. But once again, when you normal summon this card, you can special summon a Madolche from your hand, and I would usually either special summon Angelly or Madolche Messengelado, depending which one I have in my hand. But once again, it's a level 3 monster, so it helps with the rank 3 XYZ special summoning. Then I've got 2 Maxis, just, Maxi, everyone has Maxi in their decks pretty much. And then 2 Effect Villas. Once again, you hate the effects of your opponent's monster, so Effect Villa always works well in any deck. And then I've got 1 Reinforcement of the Army, just to add Spell Striker to my hand, and then I can special summon it by banishing Reinforcement of the Army from my graveyard. Then I've got 1 Dark Hole, 1 Book of Moon, 2 Forbidden Lance, 3 Madolche Tickets, obviously I mentioned it before, pretty important to this deck, and then 3 Madolche Chatu. Once again, once you have these 2 spell cards on your field, things are looking upwards for you, and you'll generally dominate the game from there on in. And you can, if you one of these spell cards get MST'd or anything like that, you can just special summon another Messengelado and you can add that to your hand. So that's why it's so good. And then I've just got the 1 Madolche Palusa. I don't think I need 2 for now. 1 seems to be working pretty well for me, but it's a pretty good trap card. You can special summon any number of Madolche monsters from your hand. So that's a pretty powerful card. Then moving into the other trap cards, I've just got 1 of each of the usual trap cards that most people have. Bottomless Trap Hole, 1 of them, 1 Mirror Force, 1 Torrential Tribute, 1 Phoenix Wind Blast, and then you can discard a monster, and then you could use the effect of Hootcake if you don't have a monster in your graveyard, so that's why Phoenix Wind Blast works really well. Then you've got 1 Compulsory Evacuation Device, works well against XYZ, your opponent's XYZ monsters. Just put that back into their extra deck. usually works pretty well. Then you've got one fetish chain, and then the one usual solemn warning. Okay, so now moving on into the extra deck. The main deck's just got 40 cards, and then the extra deck has got all 15 cards. First of all, we got the most important card in the extra deck, Queen Madolche Tiara Misu. It's a Madolche monster, and it's got an amazing effect and works really well in this deck. You can detach one XYZ material from this card, then target up to 2 Madolche cards in your graveyard. Shuffle those cards into your deck, and then if you have Madolche Chateau, you can just add those monsters to your hand, and then once again Madolche Ticket, if you have that as well, then you can special summon a monster from your deck which you have added to your hand. So that's, if you've got all 3 of those cards on your field, things are looking really good. And then not only that, you can then shuffle cards your opponent controls into the deck up to the number of cards returned. So that's usually, you can shuffle 2 cards that your opponent controls back into their deck. Moving on, I've got one Photon Papali Operative, I think that's how you say it. Then one number 50 Black Ship of Corn, one Heroic Champion Excalibur, one Diamond Dire Wolf, one Maestroke the Symphony Djinn, one Abyss Dweller, one Cowboy, one number 17, 2 Lafair the Sea Dragon, and you would use this card to target one banished monster and special summon it to your side of the field. And usually the banished monster would be Madolche Angelly, and then you can special summon Madolche Angelly, and then usually XYZ for Queen Madolche Tiara Misu. Then you've got 2 MX Saber Invoker, works well to special summon Madolche Messenger Lado, and then 1 Wind Up Zen Mains. Moving on into the side deck. Now, I've just quickly put together the side deck, so it may not be the best side deck, but this is what I got at the moment. 1 Madolche Crow Wainsant, something along those lines. Don't know how to pronounce that. Correct me if I'm wrong again. And then you got 2 Kokodi. May have that in my main deck, but for now, I feel that it takes too much space, and obviously I prefer Maxi and Effect Villa, but Cod D can work well, and especially if you have double summon, then Cod D usually works really well. 2 creature swap, 1 double summon, 1 prohibition, 2 prohibitions in fact, 1 poisonous winds, 1 mirror force, 2 light imprisoning mirror, and 3 DNA surgery. And with DNA surgery, I would usually either choose the type of beast. If I'm yet to have Madolche Ticket and Madolche Chateau on the field, I'd usually choose beast. And if I've already got them onto the field, then I might as well just choose fairy, because with Madolche Ticket, that fairy type monsters work really well, because if you control a face-up fairy type monster, you can special summon the monster from your deck in face-up attack position instead of adding it to your hand. So obviously, if you by adding it to your hand, you're using Madolche Chateau, and also the first of Madolche Ticket's effect is when a Madolche card is returned from your side of the field or graveyard to your hand or main deck by a card effect, add 1 Madolche monster from your deck to your hand. So if you've got a fairy type monster on the field, you can just special summon that monster instead. So that's how DNA surgery could work out. So all monsters are fairy type, but nonetheless, Madolche Angelly is already a fairy type monster, and so is Queen Madolche Tiara Misu. So that is my deck profile of the Madolche deck. I hope you guys enjoyed it, so let me know what you think of the deck, and I'll probably leave you guys with a few games, a few highlights on the DevPro online. So thanks for watching, guys, and have a nice day.